Let's bring that music down. Righty-ho. We are live. So let's see how this works. There might be some people, I guess, watching this later. So we'll do the introductions. My name's the Reverend Simon Archer. I am the priest in charge of the parish of Arbury and Castletown. And I'm also known as the Isle of Man Vicar because I do some stuff, make some videos of walks and hikes and stuff like that on the Isle of Man. No video yet today, I know, or there won't be a video today because I haven't gone out and recorded anything. So I'll get onto that. Lots of things we'll probably talk about tonight. I thought I might talk a little bit about some of the gear that I use. I might talk about some of the routes, some of my week, what's happening at the moment. Might talk a bit about some of the projects we've got coming up, things like that. Answering quick questions, so Q&A. If there's people on the stream watching who would like to find out a bit more about what it's like to, could be about main things that come up generally, which is living on the Isle of Man. What's it like to live here? A lot of people think about moving to the Isle of Man. So what it's like to live and move to the Isle of Man. I get some questions about the hiking, the camping, anything from equipment that I use, that sort of business. So it could be about the kind of boots or shoes I'm wearing, or the gear I wear, or the tents I've got, or the sleeping bags, or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, you can talk about gear. So stuff about the Isle of Man, moving here, that kind of thing as a migrant to the Isle of Man. And then faith stuff. So people sometimes ask me about sort of, I guess, what it's like being a priest. I get that all the time. So what made you become a priest? That sort of thing. So those sort of stories. And what else? What we do. So quite often it's sort of a bit about what we do as a priest, what we do, because we work as a full-time stipendiary minister. I work 6 days a week, and so there's a little bit comes up about what I do in my time, which, believe me, is a lot. So we can talk about that, anything you like, really. So good if you're joining me. Great things you could do. Firstly, you can share. I probably should share the stream, shouldn't I? Somehow. Probably some way of doing it. I don't know. We are live. Let's have a look. That's my live stuff. No, that's not it. So I'm still kind of working out how to do this the best way. I can view my channel on here. And I can, here we go, live. So I can share this, I'm guessing. Share. Let's share it to all sorts of platforms. So I can share it to X or Twitter, as everyone else knows it. I'm not going to put anything on there. I'm just going to go put the links, accept all cookies. That's fine. We'll share to Facebook, probably to change the page. Yeah, we'll do that there. And we'll share it to where else can we share it to? No, Reddit, no, no, Tumblr, LinkedIn Mix. There's other social media I could chuck it on, but just to see if we can draw a few people in to come and join us tonight. We'll see how it goes. I put it down as 2 hours. We'll see if we do 2 hours. Just depends upon interaction. If you come in here and you've got questions and you ask questions, if I'm sitting here talking to myself, believe me, I can manage that for an hour, no problem at all. But 2 hours might be pushing it. So although I do that on my walks all the time, so if I do my solo walks, you'll know that one of my main things is that I record and don't edit down too much. So I will record the whole walk and I will then just post that walk on YouTube, and it will be pretty much unedited, and I'll talk all the way through it. I did that on a 6 hour walk, so I can certainly do it for a couple of hours. But probably if there's not a lot of interaction, we'll just go. That's fine. What have we got on here? Hi, first time on your live stream. I'm in Castle. Isle of Man, and I see myself. Hey, James, nice to have you here. Didn't for some reason. It's because it's Twitch chat up there. That's why that's not coming up. I need to move this. This would be better if I move this over in front of me so I'm not looking to one side to read my chat. James, nice to meet you, mate. And you've seen yourself one of my videos. It does happen, I'm afraid. I get quite a few people who kind of turn up on my video. Most people don't mind too much. So let's move that over there. I swatched some screens around. So I used to do a lot of live. I used to do gaming streaming. So I used to stream video games. Still do every now and again, just to kind of keep my hand in. I've got a setup here where I've got 3 screens in front of me for when I was doing that, and I had the kind of software running it, the game playing in front of me, chat one side. So I've got plenty of space in it. I haven't quite got it quite set up. It's great. Thank you. Appreciate it, James. So you'll have seen me around in Castletown. Obviously, I'm your local vicar, and you'll see me around all the time. Do say hello. Lots of people do. Funnily enough, I get that kind of. I had it the other day. I did the last recording. I did a little kind of trip out in the car, and I've got a new car, which I'll talk about as well. Lots of things to talk about tonight. So I did a trip out in the new car, and someone stopped me there and just said, "Oh, you the Isle of Man vicar?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we started having a good old natter and a chat. He was from Douglas way, I think, but we're over at Langness, and so I come across people who sort of recognise it, and people just say hello. I'm just as hopefully as friendly in real life as you'll find on streams and videos and stuff like that. I'm just the same person. So you're welcome to come and say hi anytime you like. I've got the same bar. Mate, James. Yeah, so you've got Connor, have you? So he's a barber called Connor, and he's quite reasonably opened up a barbershop in a place called The Square, which is on Market Square. But The Square is like another building which has got a few little small shops in it and a bit of an art gallery stuff going on there. And Connor started up his barbers, and he's superb. Such a good gent, really friendly. And we natter all the time. And I must admit, I wind him up. I'm not sure how much he can how much he can say back, but he's getting there. But we have a bit of a joke and a bit of banter and have a laugh. And he's a good chap. Really like him. But yeah, we talk about cars a lot. I'm not a massive car fanatic, but I've got a nice car. Blue and 2. First time watching you live. We see most of your videos, and we're currently in the process of moving over from Manchester to be close to family. Awesome. Such a good move. Isle of Man isn't for everyone. I'll never try and convince anyone to move to the Isle of Man, particularly because otherwise you're kind of taking a lot of responsibility. But if it is for you, it's amazing. It's the best place you can be. There's just such a great community here. You get odd bits and bobs, but nothing like I lived in London, so southeast London, pretty tough area. So for me, it's a dream come true, really. It's like living. The weather we've had recently, the last few days have been a bit poor, unfortunately. But for the summer, we had 2 weeks off in the summer, and it's been glorious. It's like being, I don't know whether it's almost like some beaches. It's like being on the coast in Spain or somewhere. It's been so good. But coming over here, there's lots of really good reasons. Wonder why you? I mean, you said so to be closer to your family. Is this younger family, parents, or what is that? Are you originally from the Isle of Man? Be interesting to know. But we love it here. Kids love it here. We've got loads of friends that we've made. We've had such an adventure coming over, and it's been. I think my move is really different to most people's moves over here. To give you an idea of that sort of process for me, why it was in some ways a lot simpler, and in some ways quite tough. So firstly, I'm moving my whole family. So it's myself, my wife, and 4 children. Although the eldest was and is at uni. You remind me of one of the vicars. His name's Simon T. Oh, cool. Well, I am the local vicar. So this is one of the vicars from in the past. But for me, the move was a little bit simpler, I guess, in some ways as well. They're bringing all the kids over in schools and things like that. One of my daughters had just had a real tough time at GCSEs and was waiting for results. It didn't turn out great. But she's now doing well, redid her English, and she's got a job and she's looking at the future. My younger two are doing really well. One's just got her GCSEs now this year. We've been here 2 years, and has got really good results. Castle Russian High School. Should have got a brew, shouldn't I? Did talk about having a brew. Oh, brew time live. I'll have to text the missus and see if she'll put the kettle on. Yeah, the move for me is slightly different as a vicar, because as a priest, I should say, because I'm not strictly speaking a vicar. That's a long conversation. But I am the priest in charge. He was in the church in Castletown. Cool. For me, I don't need a work permit because I'm a priest for the Church of England. So we don't require work permits, and therefore our partners don't require. So our partner's a wife, my spouse, she didn't need a work permit. And my kids couldn't work at first, but we managed to get some leeway on the permit thing. So I know there's lots of talk about people who get kind of allowed permits, but my kids were here and were here long term, and they needed to get little sort of jobs. And I think that's one thing. If you've got older children, I think the whole permit thing, is the work permit thing is all right if you're coming over. If literally the reason you're moving over here is to work. But when I'm coming over here for one thing, you bring children with you, you can make it really difficult for them if they can't get work permits. It should be families and their children, I think. But anyway, so we came over, I managed to get work permits for them so they could do it. They're only young, but so they could work in a cafe or whatever they wanted to do, like part-time. And my wife's got a job at Clear Pharmacy. So pharmacy on the island, quite a big one, based in Ireland. They're at head office, but they have branches here and a few in the UK as well. Simon Dean, that's a name that I've heard. But also they paid for my relocation. Not unusual for businesses to pay for people's relocation, but they paid for me to move from the vicarage I was into the vicarage here. So Blue on 2, my parents live in Onken. Okay, to be close to parents. I grew up between Manchester and the Isle of Man, and now along with my wife and daughter, we have decided to take the plunge and make it our home. So I can't say enough. You've got the connection here. Really different for you. You know what it's like over here. You've lived between the two places. You know the Isle of Man better than I do. And you know its faults, and it's good, It's plus side as well. So I'm sure it's a positive move for you, because if you're coming here with all that knowledge, knowing what it's like in the winter, I love the winter here, by the way. So I'm not one of those who goes, well, come in the winter, you'll hate it. I love it. I come looking forward to it. Even my daughter said the other day, we must be so weird. My daughter said the other day, she's like, it's raining today. I'm so glad that weather's back. It's like, what? And it's because we do lots of you get cozy. We've got local farmers, Phil Kringle. He delivers a big sacks of wood, big ton bags of wood. So we'll have all the wood stacked up. We've got a wood burning stove, and we'll just every evening we'll chuck wood on that. We'll sit around the fire. We'll put blankets on ourselves, and not that the house is cold, but we just don't need to put the heating on all the time. And if it's pouring with rain and the wind's blowing outside, and you're inside and you're cozy and you're under a blanket with a fire going, there's nothing quite like that feeling. So I like it. And then if I have to go out in it, you get wet, don't you? I walk in all sorts of weather, so it doesn't bother me at all. But it's so nice. I look forward to hearing more from you, Blue, too, about your sort of journey over here and coming over to the island and having the move. And as same as I do, the thing is, you make the most of it. As long as you make the most of it, as long as you kind of do your best to enjoy it and to get involved. There's loads to do here. There's this weird thing about there's nothing to do on the Isle of Man. Excuse me, I'm just making sure I've got no. I always panic that I'm going to be streaming to other platforms when I'm not supposed to be, but I'm not. That's fine. This idea that there's nothing to do here, it's really strange. Because there's loads to do here. There's so obviously not every kid's going to be kids, I should say. Into walking and hiking, and you get people saying, once you've been walked around the island once, and Been to the beaches once, it's all done. It's like, how can you say that unless you've got 20 years under your belt? I mean, I've done 2 years, a tenth of the time. I haven't touched a tenth of the island. There's some beaches and places I go back to all the time because they're just so nice. I went to Glen Helen the other day for the first time, and I'll definitely go back there because beautiful, nice, easy walk along to the waterfall. Put your feet in the water, fantastic. So yeah, love Glen Helen, but I've got, because we had the storms at the beginning of the year, I'm hoping it's taken all year to clear a lot of that, hasn't it? We could be getting storms again soon. But yeah, so I'm hoping to go to Doon Glen, Ballaglass Glen, and there's a whole list of others as well that I haven't been to, just to kind of go and explore. But I'll manage it, I'll get around there. But there's no way you could get bored if you're into that sort of thing, because you've seen all the beaches and there's like dozens of beaches. There's all the obvious ones. You've got your Fenella Beach at Peel, Peel Main Beach, and then you've got here near me at Castletown we've got the Scarlet, which is like the rocky place, which is really interesting, but it's all rocky. And then you've got Castletown Bay, which is a really nice beach, sandy and everything. You've got all down by the Len, and down sort of up that way, but sort of the west coast, and that the west coast has got massively long beaches. And then you've got all the way up to Ramsey, and then you can go around the island. And Laxey Beach is nice, really nice, sheltered bay. And you just go right. You've got all these Port Erin. Obviously, I didn't even mention Port Erin. Port Erin Beach is just, in a summer sunny day, Port Erin Beach, gorgeous, but it does get busier. Can get harder to park there. Not busy UK busy, but busy for the island. But you could still, on a really glorious sunny day, go find a beach if you kind of know where you're going, and you can go find a beach which has nobody on it. There's a really funny, because Noel Edmonds is over here. He's bought a place over here. So if you don't know who Noel Edmonds is, he was a big entertainer. He was on radio to start off with, BBC Radio. Then he did some TV, did some children's TV on a Saturday morning. Then he had like Saturday evening shows, Noel's House Party and stuff like that. It's a very famous sort of Christmas Day program he did with Noel's Christmas Presents, which made everyone cry on Christmas morning. And he's moved away, went off to New Zealand, but he's been visiting the island and he loves it here. And he's got bought a place on the Isle of Man, and he's just putting he puts loads on Instagram, and he's just putting so many videos up about how he can't believe this isn't like, he's like our one-man tourist board, because he's really selling the place, which is great. Loads of history stuff. James, like ridiculous. We've got one of the best preserved medieval castles in Europe, if not the world, or the best. And that's at Castletown. And you've got Peel Castle. Then you've got all the churches and chapels and keels. You've got the Tholtons. Tholtons are like old ruined buildings without the roofs on them generally. So old abandoned farm buildings quite often, abandoned for all sorts of reasons. So you've got those. Then you've got like the general sort of history of the island and invasions. And we've got Viking history, so we can go way back to the Vikings, and there's Viking burial grounds where there was an entire Viking. I think there's only I can't remember the other place is, but there's like only 2 places in Europe where they found these Viking burials, or maybe the British Isles actually. Like Stamford, La Hope, or something like that. And here, where there's a fort, they discovered a full Viking burial ship, so buried underground. It's amazing. Loads of great history. Museums are excellent. I think the Manx Museum's free. I think House of Manannán you might have to pay to get into, but we got the Heritage card, so you get a card where you pay next to nothing and you can go into. I can't remember how much I paid, but it was not very much for us to be able to go into all the museums and the sites and everything on the island. And you can use that same in like National Heritage and National Trust places across, and places all around the globe as well. Literally, there's places I think in the Bahamas and stuff where you can use this little island's heritage card. You can use it all over the place. I have a preference to the north of the island, but I do have a soft spot for Port Erin. Port Erin is beautiful. We like the north of the island. It does get more rugged and a bit more sparse, so it's not as built up as you head north. So for me, as a walker and a hiker and a wild camper, which is not always the most popular thing to do, wild camping over here, as I found out recently, But not that I got discovered or anything like that, but someone reported me to the police because I put a video up saying I was going wild camping. I don't think the police have been too worried because they haven't contacted me. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, north of the island, you just get that little bit more space around you, and it's a bit more. And it has got some beautiful beaches up there, and it's just, and you go over the mountains and the hills, and it's just ridiculous, stunning, absolutely stunning. So north of the island, and we talked about retiring actually to Ramsey. I'm way off yet. I may not look it, but I'm way off yet. I'm about 20 years away from retiring, 18 to 20 years probably. Blue on two. We're looking at Ballabeg. Our daughter has a place at Castle Rushen. Good. My son's at Castle Rushen. My daughter's just going off to college now, but she was at Castle Rushen, loved it. Much the same as you in the sense we love it in the summer and in the winter. That's the way it be. If I think people talk themselves, don't they? They talk themselves into like, and also because you got the Manx crabs and you got the people who moan. I don't care if I get told to go home in a boat in the morning. But there's such a minority in reality, because when you meet people out and about, people just aren't like that. But if you watch social media and go on certain pages, you'll think that everyone over here is horrible and racist and nasty, and they're just not. It's the loveliest people you'll ever meet. But they're also the moaners will go about, oh, you won't like it in the winter and it's horrible and there's nothing to do. And it's like, well, perhaps it's me, but I'm busy flat out all the time. You can join a dozen clubs here. I could be out every single night in a different club. I've been offered to go sailing, badminton, bowls, tennis. This is all within like this area. Kayaking. I could have gone diving. There's climbing, rock climbing, obviously wild swimming, and I do hiking, wild camping. There's a wild camping group for over here, Camping IOM, on Facebook. Wild camping, hiking. I do travelling, and there's a little bit more now because I've just got a new car, which is so a bit of a funny story about that. But I'll tell you about that. But yeah, it's just the most amazing people. Here's one of these amazing people now. Wendy's in the chat, who's Wendy and Joe, who really welcomed us to the island. And my wife goes out for ladies' lunch with Wendy. Apparently people are trying to ban old socks tea. I know. Who's responsible for that, Wendy? I think I recognise that name from somewhere. Yeah, we had a someone tried to do this ban face covering, but they kind of disguised a ban people in hockey masks and balaclavas, and then just and burqas and hijabs and things like that. And it's like, oh, we all know what you mean. We know what it's about. It's not about balaclavas or ski masks. No one walks around in blooming ski masks. It isn't like London or Manchester or Liverpool where you got those little oiks who run around in ski masks annoying people. It's just not like that here. It really, there's a few kids who who think they're like that, but it really isn't. They haven't got a clue. But it was really about that. It was about, we don't want. Can't remember this last time I've seen someone wearing a hijab or a burqa or whatever. It just doesn't happen. You don't see it. There's so I see some African people about. I've seen a few, which is great. But it's not that diverse here. They're just, it's just the stirring up that anger and that hatred for people that aren't even blooming here. We had a family of Nigerians come over for a holiday. 22 of them in this family. They've come over here. Now imagine they booked a hotel, and the Welbeck in Douglas, and they stayed here, and they then did this. There's a news story about saying how much of a wonderful time they had, how wonderful the people had been at the hotel, how lovely everyone was on the island, and then they went home again. And it's like, and people going, oh, glad they went home. Let's make sure they got home and all this. And you're thinking, that's such a minority on Facebook. It's just not like that here. You walk around, everyone's themselves. You get people people who dress how they want, who do what they want, who live how they want. There's a big Filipino community. There's a big South African community over here. There's some Eastern Europeans. We've got a bit of Polish, a bit of this, which you will get in any place. But what's the problem? It's just that diversity just gives you more choice in food. The restaurants, the the shops and things. There's so much more to choose from when you do that. So it's an amazing place. This kind of petition on change.org about banning ski masks and balaclavas, and when the local radio station reported it, they only mentioned the balaclavas and the ski masks. They didn't mention that this person had also put this other stuff on there, and I think they're making it out to be about gender equality, but they are kind of it's a whole nother thing. But like, don't try and cover up your I don't know what the word for it is, your narrow-mindedness. I don't want to say racism all the time, but that intolerance. Don't try and cover up your intolerance by trying to make it about something else, which clearly is not. I'm going to go back to the chat in a minute. It's flying through. We got Blue and Two. Great that your daughter's got a place in Castle Rushen. She'll love it there. Ballabeg. I look after one of the churches there as well. So there are Methodist church in around Ballabeg, but the Church of England church is Arbury Church. So I look after Arbury and Castletown churches. So St Mary's on the Harbour in the Castletown, beautiful little converted schoolhouse, and Arbury Church, more traditional looking church with a churchyard. Loads of stuff, really busy churches, getting busier all the time, filling up slowly. Come and say hello when you get to Ballabeg, whether you're a church person or not. Come and say hello. We do lots of stuff there that isn't about services. You're welcome to any services, but we also have lectures and musical performances and all sorts of amazing stuff that goes on there. So you're welcome to come along, Blue and Two, come and visit and say hello. I'm always about you. Easy, find my number. I live at the vicarage in Arbury Road. Arbury Road, I think it was Arbury Street. It's Arbury Road in Castletown. I don't mind giving my address out on a live stream because literally anybody with half a brain cell could look me up on the internet, and all my contact details are on the internet. So there's not a lot of what I can do about that. And there's contact numbers. Give us a shout if you need anything when you're over here. If you just want to catch up for a coffee or something, that'll be amazing. Don't forget John. Hi, John. Nice to have you in here. Don't forget the old mines dotted all over the island. Yeah, I haven't done the mines much. I wouldn't mind doing up the mines. I think up near Snaefell, there's the old, it's not a tin mine, is it a tin mine? A lead mine, tin mine? Up near Foxdale, and I've got pretty close to that. I parked up near it one night to do some photos with the stars and stuff like that, being quite dark out there. It's I think that's a lovely spot to be as well. Have I had a kipper bap yet? No, I keep meaning to. A kipper and marmalade apparently is the combination, and I'm not so sure about that, but I'll give it a go. I'll try it out. I'll try anything. I will try eating anything at least once. But yeah, must get on the kipper baps. Well, I haven't done that yet. 2 years. That's madness. Must sort that out. Apparently people are trying to ban the odd socks. Yes, Wendy, absolutely. My eldest, yeah, it was. I saw that. His get back at the face covering one. Yeah, I saw. I have signed his odd sock petition. Basically, it was banning odd socks. It was to be as silly as the other one. So banning odd socks, and I'm actually a little bit obsessive and don't like wearing odd socks. I won't wear odd socks. I'd rather wear no socks. Ask my wife, and she'll tell you that I don't do odd socks. And it's a bit of a joke. They have odd socks. Mine are Scandinavian. Does that count? Yes. Yeah. I've actually got some. I haven't got them at the moment, but I've got some Danish socks that I wear. Some really good Danish socks for walking, actually. And I've got some other Scandi kind of knitted socks that I wear. The best socks because they know about the cold. So oops. Yeah. Odd socks as in different ones. Yeah. It's a joke petition. But it's got a few people signed up to it. I know I have. Earlier this year, Peel Cathedral had the Moon Within lunar exhibition. It was amazing. Loved that. Went to that. Took some footage of that. There's actually on my channel. So you go on the YouTube channel and you can have a look at that, and it will tell you all about. I have a little bit of footage of the moon, probably with some music. I can't remember what I did, but it filmed a bit about the kind of the moon we're going to get. I think next might be Mars. Mars is one of the more recent ones. But we had Gaia, which is the Earth one at St Thomas's in Douglas. And I think Mars might be coming as the next one, which is the Red Planet. And I think that'll be quite cool because there's a lot of really cool music that goes alongside that. It holsters it. But yeah, that moon was amazing. Such an amazing piece of art, an installation. Good thing to have at the cathedral. Lead mine, there's two of them. The second one is much larger and more buildings around it. Yeah, I kind of wanted to explore it. I came down towards it, and I might do a little bit of a longer walk another day. So I kind of parked at South Brew. You walk down, not to South Brew, you walk down the road, cross over the road, and on the corner there, and I can never remember the name of the place there, but you can walk down to an old Tholton and an old chapel down this route. It's the mountain bike kind of motocross mountain bike route, and you can walk down there. I've camped at the Tholton down there, and as you go through there, you can carry on going towards the mine. And I thought about approaching it from that direction, and that looks like a big mine. So I thought, obviously, being careful and not crossing over where I'm not supposed to. But I thought that might be a really cool place to actually camp as well. So thanks for that, John. I'll have a look at that. I don't have marmalade on kippers. Don't like marmalade. Fair enough. Fair enough. Not for everyone. I like a bit of marmalade. Marmalade on toast. Have to be. I go through phases of it though. So I'll get some nice thick cut marmalade. That's quite a winter one as well. Hot toast in the morning with marmalade on toast. It's quite cool. My son will only wear odd socks and can't be bothered to match them. I can't. Yeah, like just does my head in. I can't do it. Odd socks are a common thing in our house. We wear them to celebrate World Down Syndrome Day. Oh, cool. That's a cool thing to do. I don't know whether it would do my head in though. I'd have to be sponsored to go with odd socks for a day. I don't even like it when you get two black socks and they've got a slightly different pattern on them. I haven't got OCD. OCD is a horrible, debilitating condition. I'm slightly obsessive about certain things. So I eat in a certain way. I eat left-handed, by the way, as well. But like I'll eat my food from my plate in a set pattern, and I'm quite. Probably some people will say slightly autistic or something, but I don't worry about labels for myself because I'm too old to worry about that stuff now, and I've managed for this long. I've definitely got a bit of dyspraxia because my two boys have got dyspraxia, and they just take after me in that respect. And I was terrible at sport, and I had no core strength, and I couldn't play football or catch and do all that sort of stuff. And my handwriting is exactly the same as theirs, so I've definitely got dyspraxia, but I've never bothered getting it diagnosed because what's the point now? I'm kind of doing what I'm doing. I manage, so I don't think there's a lot I can. I often follow their guides and the things they're taught. I was always following it with with interest to work out what I could do to make myself better. But my handwriting will never improve. My wife says I've got the handwriting of a 2-year-old serial killer, so that's quite nice. On Saturday, March 21st, 26th is Down Syndrome Day. You meant to wear odd socks. Oh, cool. Okay, remind me nearer the time. I'll do my best in pain and suffering to wear odd socks. I'll do it. I'll try. A little bit more about the live streams. So the live streams are aiming to do once a month, so they just don't get like, oh, it's on again this Friday. I want people to kind of hopefully look forward to catching up. The channel's growing bit by bit, so that's cool. I didn't do a video today. I've had a bit of a horrible week. All sorts of things. I might tell you a little bit about it, but there might be some legal action being threatened, so I better not do too much. But why do I track this sort of stuff? I don't know. Yeah, I'll try and get something sorted and maybe do a double next week or something like that. Get a couple of videos out, one perhaps at the beginning of next week, possibly doing a camp Sunday night. So I know the weather's not supposed to be good, but the weather's the weather, and I've got a tent that's waterproof for a reason. Yeah, it just didn't happen this week. Today I was sorting out something to do. Well, a funeral to sort out. Had a funeral meetings yesterday. I had a car thing to sort out. So the ongoing thing, if you don't know, I was going to say about stream. Yeah. So with the channel, I'd be really grateful if you could give the channel a subscription. Doesn't cost you anything. It's not a subscription. It's a weird name for it because you sub to the channel. You click subscribe. It costs you nothing. No money involved. It's fine. But it means that you're following the channel. It'll let you know when I go live. It'll let you know when I do videos, when I release stuff. And if you can watch some of those videos, click a like on those videos. You don't have to share them, but obviously that helps. Making a comment in the videos is massive for the engagement. And what it just does is YouTube go, oh, people like this. I will push it out a bit more, and they'll put it in front of other people, and it means it just grows, helps the channel grow. But I'm sitting, I haven't looked just now, but I was sitting at 490, It's been moving between 492 and 494, and I've got to 494, and it goes back down to 493. So let's have a look. 494 we're at the moment. So yeah, if you're not, it'd be really good if you just drop to sub on the channel, and that will help grow it more. Liking the video like someone's just done. Thank you for liking the live stream. You can do that as well. That'll help the live stream get pushed out to more people. And then just any of the videos that I do. If you, I know they're long and not everyone wants to watch it all. Chuck it on in the background. That's a massive help. I do it with lots of videos that I watch it too long. I might have it while I'm working, and I'll have something playing in the background. So just come join me on that walk with me, chatting away, nattering away in the background while you do the washing up or tidying up or doing something else. I don't know. And that really helps if you watch more of the video. People who watch 3 minutes of it and then stop probably do more damage than if they hadn't watched it at all, because it'd be like, oh, it wasn't very interesting. That's what YouTube thinks, so people stop watching it. But if you're not interested, that's fine. But sub, like videos, watch videos, comment. Always good. Massive for it. Let's have a look what we got here. I remember the Boys Brigade at your church when I was a kid. We did upstairs. Yeah. We're doing some stuff with upstairs down at St Mary's. The one in Castletown. Yeah. 99% of I watch your videos on the TV, and you can't comment. Yeah. It's tricky. Some TVs allow you to make a comment, some won't. What you can do, if you've got YouTube on your phone, you could be watching it on your TV and commenting on your phone. That's one way of doing it. It's a video, though. You can come back to it later. And if you don't comment, it's fine. No one's twisted anyone's arm. No problem at all. I appreciate you watching. And I've got a lot, because I film in 4K and upload in 4K. So it's usually pretty good pictures. My daughter was saying this. She was watching some the other day. And they watch it on their TV as well. And because if you watch it's 4K, you can watch it on a pretty big screen and have a really good high quality video. So some of the stuff, the views that I've had up Snayfield, do check your settings, make sure it's set to the 4K, because sometimes it revert to like a lower quality 1080 or 720 or whatever. If you make sure it's running at the best quality, make sure you're watching it in 4K, because that's usually on the settings. And it's not bad, the footage is, I'm aiming to keep the footage fairly high quality. I'm working on a couple of bits at the moment. Still want to get another camera. Still want to get my, I've decided I do need at some point to get my action cam so I can do some more out in the rain. But lots of people watching on TV. About nearly half the people watch it on TV, which is mad, that people are watching it on their main screen, probably in the house. But yeah, some people, I speak to people all the time who message me or email me or whatever. I just say they chuck it on the TV, and it's a bit what I watched one called Life is Too Short, and it's one of the videos that introduced me to the Isle of Man. So if you're not on the Isle of Man and thinking of moving here, or you want to know a bit more about the island, then I would recommend that channel. Life is Too Short. Going through a bit of a rough patch at the moment. So one of the couple has got cancer, and they're going through that at the same time. But they go after. Used to have, when they were here, they had a little red camper van, and they drove around the island and camped out in this little camper van and visited lots of places, and really good. So it's well worth watching that. I'd recommend that. What I'm trying to do is slowly build up a bit of a back catalogue of videos for people who might consider moving here, and with all the stuff and all the information I share about living here when I'm making the videos, it hopefully gives people a bit of an insight into the island. Because I talk about, when I'm walking, I talk about the walks and the camping, but also I do some cooking and make myself a brew usually. It's why this is Brew Time Live. I've got my my 3FM mug. Admittedly, I had to finish that. I should have got another one lined up before the stream started for my brew, but not much of a brew time if I'm not having a brew. Hey, Unstoppables, how you doing, buddy? Nice to hear from you. In Port Erin, just outside the Bridge Bookshop, very good place, is a catering that does Queenies, mostly on the weekends. I do reckon. Nice. Now, the best Queenies I've had so far, I went to the Sound Cafe, and they did Queenies in like chopped shallots and garlic. It was very simple. Butter, really rich, thick buttery sauce all over it with some like sourdough toasted bread or something. I'm not even a massive seafood fan, and that was some of the best. It was just so much. It was like a burst of flavour, but you could still taste the Queenies. But good to know something a bit closer. And I have seen some of those catering sheds. I noticed they do crepes down there as well, don't they? Or crepes or whatever they are. But yeah, Unstoppables, another channel, guys. If you want to have something to watch about the sort of stuff, bit like I do, but different, which is always good. So great channel and well worth a watch. So you can click on their name. You'll end up leaving the stream. Doesn't matter. Click on their name and subscribe to their stream as well. And it's just all this stuff I love. I love going before I go to bed. I know you're not supposed to watch stuff before you go to bed, but I tend to go, just want to watch an episode of something or like something, and I tend to watch stuff like Unstoppables now. Stephen J. Reed, Paul Messner, a couple of the Van stuff. Life is too short. I rarely watch TV anymore. I'm actually rewatching a podcast series that I've already watched. That's got like hundreds of episodes, like 300 episodes. They're about an hour long. I started rewatching that because I was like, there's nothing really on the TV, and it's on YouTube. I can just sit there and watch it on my iPad while I'm working, or if I'm chilling out. If my wife is watching something on the TV, I can put my headphones in, and we don't do that much, to be fair. We tend to watch football together at the moment. Such great food down at the Sound. I keep saying it's not cheap. Like a lot of places, when I say it's not cheap, I don't mean it's bad. I just mean it's not cheap. So don't expect what we used to call a donkey burger and frozen chips. You'll get really good food for a realistic and reasonable price, with lots of locally sourced stuff, which is what you want. I couldn't fault it, and I love going there. They've also, the same people own Stanley's now in Castletown, and if you haven't eaten Stanley's yet in Castletown, if you're thinking about visiting or you're already here, Stanley's in Castletown. Actually, Wendy, you and I and Tasha and Joe should go. I was going to say double date down to Stanley's at some point and go for a bite to eat. I think they're pretty good. I think you might have it be gluten free, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty good on their menu. They're that sort of hip woke place. I don't mind saying it. It's quite funny, but they're just such a great atmosphere in there. Lovely people and superb food. Loads of good foodie places in Castletown. You like my dragon statues behind my head? Yes. So I have got. Let me see if I can. I mean, I can light them up more. I can always. So there is also up there massive dragons. Is much up there? Nothing much above there. Just my cards that I get. I get some cards from people. Let's turn a light on. I don't need the headphones on. I don't know why I got the headphones on. It's going for a bit of a. See, I've disappeared now. I'm over here. Yeah, so I've gone for like a warmer look tonight, so you don't get you see all the mess. But yeah, up here, I don't know. I've got headphones. I've got no music playing. I've got no reason to have headphones on. But up here we've got a selection of I can't remember, enchanted something or other dragons that I used to collect a few of. I used to people buy me, and there's a dragon up there as well, and a dragon mug and some Lord of the Rings stuff. In the middle of all of that is I'm moving the wrong way. That's probably better. There we go. We've got Star. I don't know if you can hear me still. Star Trek Voyager, which was I did a funeral for the brother of one of my congregation's husbands. He was not part of the church, as in a regular attender of the church, but used to do odd jobs around the church, and we got on really well, and we used to clean drains out together and stuff like that. When his brother died, he was a collector of all like Star Trek stuff, and I love my sci-fi, and so I end up with being given a hand-built sort of model in a hand-built case, Star Trek Voyager. More dragons up there, and did I see someone asking about the helmet? People, they do Queenies and scallop shell. Oh, nice! I wouldn't mind trying that. Great food down at the Sound. Queenies with chorizo at Frank Mancham's. Not been to Frank Mancham's. They're unreal. I'm going to be in a lot of Queenies. Stanley's in Castletown. Never been there. Should give it a try. Yeah, so it's quite new. Really good. It's kind of Mediterranean stroke Middle Eastern. So falafel and things like that. But they do really good brunches. They do breakfast and stuff. And you can go and have a full English. But if you want to go and have brunch, they do such a really interesting menu. Give it a try. I know you're talking to the top of my head at the moment because I'm showing what's behind me because there's something else there. Amazing. Good grief. Is that a Doom helmet? Yes, John. So it doesn't fit on my head. So there's a story behind this. Let me move that camera back down. Oh, it's going to be all crooked and wonky and stuff, and you'll see rubbish. Oh well. We'll warm the lights up a bit. Hi. I did have a light underneath it, so it was lighting up, but the battery must have run out. It's a bit strange. Yeah. So the Doom helmet there. I still like gaming video games, and it became a bit of a ministry thing. So I did it over COVID, and I used to play games with people, and I was always into video games. Grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I did a special thing for Bethesda for QuakeCon. Bethesda make Doom the game. And they were promoting Doom Eternal, and they decided because it was sending demons back to hell, that wouldn't it be funny if they could find a vicar to do it? And they Googled gaming vicar or something, and up came me, and they contacted me, and so I ended up being on an hour-long live stream with interview whilst playing Doom Eternal, and they sent me that as part of my. They paid me. They paid me. That's what they do, is they get people in and they say, right, we'll pay you this and that, and I won't tell you how much I got paid, but I also got a box set edition of the game with the helmet, and I've still got all there's a cassette of the music, there is like books and stuff and all sorts in there, and the game code, because I never used the game code because they sent me the game code anyway, so I'd already had the game from them. That was that's bit of that story. But basically, I did an hour-long stream, and I streamed. So I was Vic Collar on streaming at QuakeCon, and it was a concurrent viewers. So that's how many viewers you get at one time. So concurrent viewers at the moment is 9, and I had in this live stream, to give you context, that was streaming to concurrent viewers of 20,000, and I think it was 120,000 different people watched that 1 hour. Live stream, so that was kind of cool. One of those weird experiences. Still love my games. Play a little bit every now and again. Don't get that much time to play, but I do when I can. It's a good way of chilling. I play video games too. I have PS5. Cool. PS5. I was a bit more of an Xbox man, but you know what they say, PS5 for show, Xbox for pro. So you'll refer to that one. But I PC game now because consoles and things like that, and they're constantly updating them, and I don't think Xbox are going to make a new console. Actually, I think I've heard they're not going to bother anymore. But I've got a gaming PC that's a few years old now, quite a few years old now, really, 4 or 5 years old, but it's doing the job. So it was good fun. Thanks, John. Yeah, it was good. What was good about it is it reached people that you probably don't usually reach. You know, it's like it was a kind of an audience, which was an interesting one. And we did lots of talking and chatting, and lots of people with mental health issues and struggling during COVID. And I would have liked to have carried it on, but when we reopened the churches, my evenings were not my own again. And stuff like this that I'm doing now, like, I don't know how long I'll be able to do it, like once a month. And when you're streaming on Twitch, to keep your audience, you need to be doing 2 or 3 times a week minimum. And I was doing 3 nights a week, 4 hours a night, 8 till midnight, so it didn't affect any of my other work. But once the churches opened back up and everything opened back up, I was just so busy, and it was just impossible to keep on top of everything and to keep that up without damaging my own mental health. So I just kind of laid off it a bit.
Xbox here too, John. Hey. Um, I think one of my kids has got my Xbox. Actually, my son. I've not used it in years, but I had a long break for years. I didn't play anything, and then I went back to playing a bit of Xbox and got back into gaming again, playing lots of Warzone. I was playing the big game that I got on the news, and I was on. If you type in Gaming Vicar into Google, you'll find that I come up, and as most of the searches will be me. And there's loads of videos from the BBC, and there's a video from CBS as well. I was on the news in Miami. I was live on the news on BBC. BBC did a whole piece on me. CBS did a whole piece on me. It was, and I've done loads of did a radio interview the other day because of it. It's a great fun. A lot of it I loved, but I'm not an attention person, so it used to make me feel sick whenever I was going to be on TV or on the radio or something like that. So just one of those things you go, oh, I'm not exactly that sort of person. I get up in front of people on a Sunday, but that's about it. I started PS1 and just went all the way up to 5 because that's what happens. No, I only joke. I've got a PS3 in front of me now because you can pick them up for next to no money. So I picked up a PS3, I think it is PS3, PS3, like the piano black one. And I got another one in the other room because literally I was at a charity shop. I gave them a donation in the end, but I was at a charity shop and they went, cost us more to test these than it does for us to sell them. And they just went, and it was one I was donating to and did work stuff for all the time. They just went, do you want them? And they gave me this box of like, there was a PS2, I think. Was it PS1? Maybe a PS2. The PS2 was sold for the church. The PS3 I gave him a donation for, and we use them for Blu-ray players. So we got keep some Blu-ray discs, and we can play DVDs and Blu-rays on it. So I've got one attached to a big screen TV in here. It's an old TV that my mother-in-law mother and father-in-law gave us, which is not a particularly good one, but I'll just have it plugged in there. And to be fair, that hasn't been switched on in 2 years. So there you go. I've got I've got a PS3. My Xbox is what my son's got. My daughter's got an Xbox, and they play all sorts of different stuff. So, but it was fun. And yeah, I know. Yeah, well, if you're the sort of person you started at PlayStation, then you probably won't go PlayStation all the way through. If you start on Xbox, you probably go Xbox all the way through. You get used to it. And I moved on to PC gaming sort of 4 or 5 years ago. I had some PCs before, but not really for gaming. A bit of Warcraft, actually. I used to play World of Warcraft. But my sort of main gaming PC I bought at the beginning of COVID because it was, we cancelled a holiday, got some money back. My wife got a digital camera, and I got a gaming PC. So that's how it all started. But yeah, So got a new car. If anyone knows the story, if you've watched the videos, you might have heard about my poor Honda CR-V. I've got a new part coming for that. Actually, should arrive tomorrow or next few days. I've got a part to replace the power steering. The mechanic who was supposed to be fixing the car, has led me on a little merry dance for 3 months, and it has literally today threatened me with legal proceedings. Apparently, a solicitor's going to get in touch with me tomorrow. I would look forward to that. I've had 3 months worth of WhatsApp messages, and I recorded our conversation today because I'm party to it. I can do that. As he hurled abuse at me, got aggressive, and swore at me. So that's going to be good. I look forward to receiving his solicitor's letter, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not going to give his name out yet. But hopefully got the part coming through. Hopefully got a new mechanic who's going to fit that part. It is second-hand part, but I couldn't get hold of a new part. I don't know where he got his from, but I just wanted to get the part and get it fitted. If it gives me another 6 months before I need to look at it again, that's great. But it looks like it's in reasonable condition, the part. And so I had to buy another car, and I have got a sports car. And there's a big long story about it. If you've seen the video, you'll know why. But short story is, I went around the island looking at various cars, and they were all heaps, rusty, no service history, mistreated, dirty, on their last legs. And that was at some of the garages as well. And I ended up going to a garage called Swift Motors. I nearly bought a car off before for Tasha, for my wife. when she needed a car, and we very close to buying it, and we didn't in the end. We went to Paul Ridgway because she got a Fiat 500. That's what she was looking at. And I went, have you got anything in my budget? They said, all we've got at that budget, mate, is we've got these, we've got a BMW Z4. And I looked at it, I went, that's a beautiful car. And I was like, well, that's no good. I kind of can't be a vicar driving around in a BMW Z4, can I? And then I realised that, and he went through it all, and he went, it's lovely, Nick. It's great condition. Everything's spot on it. Wheels are great. Tyres are great. No rust. Spotless inside, spotless outside. Beautiful paintwork. Yes, it's a two-seater convertible, but it's got the best one of the most reliable engines on it. It's not the fastest, but it's one of the straight six V6 straight six engine, no turbo to go wrong, and literally the highest spec of that particular year. It's the highest spec model that they did, pretty much. I think there might have been some very special editions, but it's got the sat nav in it and the radio controlled Bluetooth and things. It doesn't do AirPlay because it's an older car, but I end up with a BMW Z4. And I kind of looked around and went, the only reason I'm not buying this is because what other people will think. And that's important in some ways when you're a public figure. And I don't say public figure because I think I'm some kind of superstar or some local hero. Public figure is just what you are when you're a priest, because literally if I did anything wrong, it will be on the front page of the Isle of Man today. Guarantee it, because people love to write stories about vicars making mistakes or whatever it is. So vicar in a sports car, I was like, I realised that most of my congregation, 95% of them, perhaps more, have got more expensive cars than me. So what's the problem? More expensive than this BMW. So it's just a reliable engine. Yes, it's quick. It could be quick. It can be quick. I don't drive it quick. Yes, it looks amazing. But actually, I had to get a loan out for it, and actually it's fine. It's cool. So yes, I'm a priest who is camping and hiking and drives a sports car. But I'm going to do some wild camps in it as well. So I'm going to take it out. It's hardtop convertible. So I'm going to take it out somewhere and park it up and go wild camping out the back of it. Why not? It's until I'm still going to get the other car fixed, and that's a Honda CR-V Mark 1. So completely other end of the of the scale. And that once it's done, I'm working on turning that little project into an overlander, which is like basically a soft roader, they call them, a bit of an off-roader kind of. Like the cross tyres, the tyres that you can do all-terrain, ATs, all-terrain tyres, and maybe work on the suspension a bit, give it a clean up. It is pretty clean, it's mint inside, and then deal with some of the rust, and then that will be my little kind of camping car and tip run car and that sort of thing. So it'll be for taking the dog out, that sort of stuff. And that's great because all-wheel drive, I've serviced the all-wheel drive and it works great now. It was a bit noisy before, and now it works brilliantly. Don't know what it's going to be like now. It's been sat for 3 months, but here we go. I'm going to catch up with some of the messages here now. So have you played The Witcher 3? Do you know what? I haven't. And I know I'd love it. And I don't know why I haven't played it. It's like I've got The Last of Us on the PS3. That's what one of the reasons I got it was to get The Last of Us and play through that and never get... I guess I need to be in the mood. I'm probably waiting for the winter to play some more games, but Witcher 3 is apparently still really solid, so maybe I'll play a little bit of that. It's one of those games that's been on my radar for a long time. I was known for playing Escape from Tarkov, but I just can't. That's too much now. It's just hard work getting my head around all the new stuff and all the changes, and I kind of it lost its appeal. It got too silly, too complicated, overly complicated, and lost a lot of the kind of fun from it. Lots of people love it, but not for me. But yeah, Witcher 3, good recommendation. Like that, like I said, it would be a lot different if you were an Isle of Man vicar driving around in a Dodge Ram. I guess environment. I might get some stick about the environment and things like that. It's Petrolhead Island, though, isn't it? Do you know, if I could have, I wouldn't mind a nice big American. I love old American cars, obviously Ford F-150s and things like that. Like some proper old. I guess you can get the ones which are what's it called? They're rusty, but they're not. They're made to look like they're old and rusty, but they're actually well kept. They've got a name for it. But yeah, I wouldn't mind like one of them. My wife wants one as well because she watched Bella on years ago on Twilight the movies, and she drives around in this old American pickup truck, and she just would love one of those. So yeah, so wouldn't mind something like that. But do you know what? Car's a car. If you look after them, it's better for the environment to look after a good petrol car and keep it going on the road than it is to produce a new electric car, which uses so much energy. There's lots of stuff around that. I like the idea of electric cars. I really do. At the moment, it was impossible to insure them over here. I think there's some insurers that do it now, but they've become more expensive to insure because they're almost impossible to get fixed over here. There's no specialists, so they kind of wised up to that, I guess, after a couple of accidents with electric cars, and suddenly realised they're having to pay for transportation to the mainland to be able to get anything fixed. Mainland, I said mainland. Shoot me now. That was a slip up, wasn't it? To the other island. It costs a lot of money to move things. So don't have a go at me in chat, please. I could do with that. It's been a tough week, all right? But yeah, you could. That patina kind of thing, John. There is definitely a name for it. What do they call them? It's not because you've got hot rods and it's not rust rods or something, but it's got a name for it. But yeah, I know what you mean. Patina, yeah. So there's a big thing now where they will clean him up and then seal in the rust so it won't rust any further, but it's still got that kind of look to it. And that's a big thing. Or making them. We had one up the road from us where I used to live in the UK, where it was literally made to look rusty, but it wasn't at all. Very cleverly done, and that was lacquered over the top of, and it made it look like it was on its last legs when it wasn't. It was spot on. But there you go. Rat rods. There you go. I remembered it. Rat rods is the name for them, where they're made to look like they're old and crusty, but actually they've got some amazing engine underneath. And they are spot on exactly how the person wants them to be. They're not rotting away at all. Rat rods. Yeah. What are you supposed to drive around in? I think they expect you to drive around in a Morris Minor when you're the local vicar, or ride a bicycle. That's the other one. Ride a bicycle. But my archdeacon used to ride. Old archdeacon used to ride a motorbike, and I guess it's funny, isn't it? Because I've seen clergy turn up in Defenders and things like that, and I know what a Defender costs. Second hand, they cost an absolute arm and a leg. Or they'll turn up and it'll be like, because it's very efficient, very good. It's like 30-40 grand car, I couldn't afford that. Nowhere close. So yeah, I'm quite happy with mine. So it's a BMW Z4 in black with the black interior, and it's got all the heated leather. It's going to be great in the winter actually, because it's got really good heating in it, but it's got the heated leather seats as well. And it's got everything, it's got like front and rear heated windows, and it's probably got better tyres than my Honda had, although that at some point will be changed to all terrains. I can't say long tail rod. It wouldn't work. I wasn't saying about long tails. That's different if you're talking about the animal. You have to say long tail, but if you're talking about otherwise, I'd have to say, like, do you remember that puppet from the 90s I used to present on television called Roland Longtail? That wouldn't work. You're allowed to say it in context of that, I think, but you're just not allowed to look over there. There's a long tail, you have to say, which there's plenty. I went to Currag's Wildlife Park as part of our holiday. We went and took the kids. They're not much kids anymore. They're a bit old. They're far too old for us to be paying for them to get in. I think it cost us. I think one of them got away as being a child because they were, and the other two, and ourselves, my wife and I, the other four adult prices. But we saw lots of long tails when we went at Currag's because I guess they get to all the food that gets thrown on the floor. What time is it? Oh, going for an hour already. Thank you for keeping me company this evening and coming in here and chatting, which is great. It really helps having people in here and people saying hello. Appreciate that massively. Again, keep following, keep liking the streams, keep sharing the videos if you can. We're still at 494. I need to get to 500. I'm not going to do that tonight, am I? Probably people who already know my streams are probably in here. But if you're not, if you're watching, if you're quietly watching the background without getting in the chat, which I know is always a bit of an interesting one. Just trying to make me smile. You did, James. You did. It made me think of something else. We went down a whole Roland Longtail journey. So there might be people watching the background. So I think I don't tend to watch viewers particularly as how many people are watching, but we've got like 10 people in here. And if you're in here and you're in the background, great. Do come and say hello. If you don't feel comfortable saying hello in the chat, don't. That's absolutely fine. I get that. I sit watching streams all the time without ever speaking to anyone. I understand that completely. But if you want to, you can say hi. That helps the stream. You can like the stream. That helps as well. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, give a little sub to the channel, which doesn't cost you anything. And that will help us get up to that 500 mark, which is completely means nothing in a way. You can smell it. You can smell it. You say RAT, can you? So if we get to 500, it's funnily enough, it means nothing apart from to me, because 500 is the first step, and 3,000 view hours, but we'll probably get up that way in the next couple of months, I would have thought. But yeah, so that many subscribers and 3,000 views means you then qualify for the first step in being able to monetize your channel. I think the first step is basically people donating to your channel. You know, you can do super chats and stuff, but that doesn't matter, because I tell you why it doesn't matter, because I live in the Isle of Man and we don't have monetization on YouTube, on TikTok. I think you can get it on Facebook, and I always had Twitch, so I think I still get Twitch because I've updated all that, and so I think Twitch is fine, because I'm not trying to make money from this. It would be a lovely little sideline later on if it really took off, but it's not going to be any aim to become some massive YouTuber. Warner Brothers Shorts, 496 now. Mum's the word. Really? Does it come up? Yeah, nice one. Thank you very much, Warner Brothers Shorts. Really appreciate that. Hey. That's it. Getting closer. 4 away. Can you believe it? It's pretty good. It's not bad at all, is it? Appreciate really appreciate the subs. That's really helpful. Thank you very much for that. Couple more of my channels. Oh, right. It's smashing. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's kind of, like I say, kind of means nothing because we can't earn. But in the future, the reason, I'll grow the channel, and I've got Patreon set up, and I've got Buy Me a Coffee set up, so people can, if they want to, support the channel, and they can if they want to donate. One of the things I learned in ministry, I used to say no to any help or any money or any gift, and actually you realise that sometimes people, that's what they wanted to do for themselves, and just as I would help anybody out, they wanted to help me out. So I don't have a problem with people if they do want to support, but I also don't have a problem with people if they don't. So I've got a means of kind of paying for things like, what have I got recently? I got it won't seem like much. Where is it? Okay, bottom of my camera. This is just a little. It's by K&F Concept. I don't think it will focus, but K&F Concept, and that is a little mount that comes off. He says, tiny little mount, and on the bottom of the mount, it's got the fingers to go as an action cam mounts. So that's magnetic and comes out, and that fits into action cam mounts. It's also got a 1/4 inch thread, so I can attach it to like my selfie stick thing that I've got without it having to be on the normal bit that comes with it. Is that sort of size. That's the small one. That's not the battery pack one. And that, and you end up, there's so many bits and bobs you put on there, and also that it has the charging bit at the back, which is great.
but like on its own, the camera has a charging port on the bottom. Anyway, so I've got this KNF concept stuff. What else have I got recently? I got the camera mount. I can't remember if they've got anything else particularly. Some car cleaning stuff. Oh, I did get a light. Must have a timer on it, which is no good whatsoever. Why would you have a timer on this? But this will blind you. All right, ready? And that's like a little kind of fill light, like filming light. What I found out when I camped one time was that I couldn't take video late at night easily with the sort of lamps and torches, and this is just like a magnetic. It can be mounted. It's got 1/4 inch on it as well, or it's got like a camera top mount on it and things like that. So you can do all sorts of different ways of mounting it. But you can, it is magnetic as well. So it's got loads of different ways I can mount that, and that's just got a built-in rechargeable battery, and I'll use that for some filming stuff as well. Which will work really well, really nicely. Some lighting effects and stuff like that on it as well, and I can change all the colours and things. So it's got like literally, if I put it onto the colour, you might not be able to see it very well, but if I shine it against myself, there you go. Be good for Halloween, I guess. But you can do all the different sort of colours and rotate it through various different shades, and you know, nice little blue light I could have at my side or whatever. But the lighting works really well. It's one of the things. Hey, I'm back to here. Hey, so it's your stuff, is it? They're smashing. I'll have a look at that at those channels. But yeah, so I picked up some that lighting and that mount for my camera, and oh, hey, I can take something off my foot and show you. So I'm always after a bargain, and I've been wearing barefoot shoes for a while now, and I've worn for quite a long time. I've worn these Hobby Bear shoes. You could get a good tan with that. It's quite strong. It's not bad actually. Handy just for like a portable fill light for filming and stuff. Yeah, so I wear barefoot shoes a fair bit. I have got some Vivo barefoots, which are like pretty pricey, but like wild animal leather. I don't know, but they're very good lightweight barefoot shoes I use for like longer walks. I've done 10 what did it, like 20 kilometers or something I did in them in one hit, and was pretty good. My legs were aching a bit, but my feet were fine. They worked really well. Before that I was wearing some Hobby Bear, or the ones you get on Amazon. Some people don't like Amazon, but there you go. Hobby Bear, you can buy them elsewhere as well. But Hobby Bear are really budget because it's a fad thing. They're so expensive, and I found the Hobby Bear ones to be really good. And I've got a pair of orange ones down here, which are just normal sort of shoes. They're getting a bit mucky now. I might need a wash. But I got these as well, which are like so these are Hobby Bear, and they are like trail shoes. Trainers, lightweight kind of canvas trekkers, so they're a bit lighter weight than wearing boots. Probably should have got them at the beginning of the summer, but the grip on them is superb, really good, and you get more grip anyway when you're barefoot walking, because you're more in touch with the ground, so you feel less like, I don't get ankle turns or anything like that, because you're feeling the rocks as you put your feet on them. It can make it more uncomfortable, but this sole's pretty solid and thick actually. So it's not, you're not too bad when you're stepping on the stones. But they fold, like, they're so flexible, and they are, but the grip. So I've got a bugbear about some trainers, in that you buy these trainers and they've got this really kind of glossy, plasticky finish to them, and are horrible. Whereas these are like budget, really. Barefoot shoes, and I think these were about 30 quid. I think they vary between sort of 30 and 40, and these are designed, they're not waterproof. A lot of these sort of trail running type shoes aren't waterproof,
but the idea is that they're canvas, so they dry off quickly, and it's what socks you wear with them. And elastic lacing as well, not because I can't do my laces up, but they've got like a elasticy pull laces on them. Really comfy, love them already. Wore them out tonight for walking the dog, so that was good. Yeah, so a bit of that going on. What else we got on here? No more questions in chat. Anyone got anything they want to ask while they're here? If you've got a question you'd like to ask me, either as a recent migrant in the last couple of years to the Isle of Man, as a priest, as somebody who does hiking, walking, wild camping, anything else you like, really. Gaming, I suppose. You could do gaming as well. Any subjects you like, really. It doesn't really matter. You're welcome to ask. If you can't think of anything, it's fine. I'll talk a bit longer. We'll see how we go. It's always good to kind of have random conversations. I've got no particular plan. I've got like lots of stuff I can talk about. Always with work. I've always got busy weeks on. Always. We're working on a couple of projects with the church as well. So anything like finally got someone coming out tomorrow to have a look at our signage at one of our churches. So one of the things we had in the winter, probably in January, February time, we had a storm. Was it Ewan or something like that? Ewan, or I don't know. We had a storm, and we had some damage over the storms over the winter at the church. So firstly, a banner that we had along a wall, which I hated because it had some kind of weird quote on it saying "growing in maturity with Christ." I was like, oh, what does that mean? I'm sure you've got a clever interpretation of that, but growing in maturity, what does it say to your general person walking past? It was like, really? Well, so we wanted to change it anyway, and we were talking about it, and then the wind, and it wasn't me. I didn't do anything. It wasn't me, but the wind caught it and ripped it off. So that was off. So that was good. Then we needed to change to like sort of wall post, like big, large poster size things that announce like service times and my contact details, because it had the previous vicar's details on there. We've changed the services a little bit, and they're still up, but they need changing. And the other thing we're going to need to look at is we had it was made out of plywood, painted gold. It was just a bit of ply basically, but it was quite large. It was a good sort of 6-8 foot tall, and it was a cross on the side of the church, which what you expect. It was a bit stylized, quite I guess a little Celtic in its look, and the wind blew that off and it smashed through a skylight. So I don't know if God was trying to tell us something. Either there's a real problem at that church, or we might need to close it or exercise it. Or the other thing is, it's like just change things up, and that's what I've taken it as. So we've got some coming out tomorrow to look at all the to do it nicely, like modern not modern as in silly modern, but just really bright, clear message. Come and see is our message. Come and see from John. Then Nathaniel kind of saying it. So it's an interesting quote. But come and see. And then it's got like our new logo that we use now, which is kind of cool. So we're using that. Storm Dan did a good thing then. Yeah, it might be. It might be. We think it might be a blessing in disguise, because it ripped down a lot of stuff that we didn't want there, and we weren't going to take any responsibility. But we had some weird ones. So Storm Dan, was that one of the storms? Do you even go? If so, have you seen any? Oh, that's a good question. So, what do I think about the idea of ghosts? It all falls under the supernatural. Now, I believe, was it King David? So, I'm terrible. What a priest I am. I can't quote the right scripture. I'm sure it's David who needed counsel, and it was it Nathan who was they got like witches together to raise them their spirit to talk to them. I mean, what's that about? That's kind of along those lines, isn't it? In Scripture, obviously we have the Holy Ghost. But that's a very different thing. Bert was another, but no Ernie. Storm Bert. I remember Storm Bert. So do I genuinely believe? I don't. Honestly, it doesn't mean I don't believe in the supernatural. There's loads of stuff we don't get and don't understand, and I think there's all sorts of stuff going on. But perhaps it's because I just don't believe in the same kind of things. Do I believe in evil? Do I believe in the devil? Yes, I do. Do I believe? So I can tell you. So this might be something that don't take this as in, oh, that's cool and that's exciting and things like that. I got called out to lots of incidents of unusual happenings in places. So you may not realize we have what's called deliverance ministry in the church, and deliverance ministers, and there's usually a deliverance minister team or person in each diocese. And deliverance motion detected at the front door. My daughter finally coming home. So each diocese does have someone who deals with, as such, what you would call exorcism. So diocesan exorcist. So that's the person responsible for it, and that's the thing. And I can tell you that I went to see people during lockdown. There seemed to be a lot of awful stuff going on, and people going, "Can you please visit?" Now, in my experience, so one of the things we do is we pray over the house. We also bless the house if there's anything odd going on. This is why ghost is a funny thing you see. So ghost kind of says about these apparitions who walk around, and I'm not sure about that. But do I believe in evil presences or presences? Yes, I do. And I went to lots of places where I would most of the time it would be I would bless the place, I'd anoint the family, and I would anoint that I'd bless the house, walking around blessing the rooms. We have liturgy for that. That's fine. Then I might go, and if it wasn't sorted, I might go there and say mass, as they would say. Say mass is a bit of a Roman Catholic thing, but basically I'd bring and do a communion service in the home, and that would sort out most stuff that had been going on or been happening. That would be about it. It'd be fine. There'd be nothing else that would come up, and they'll go, "Oh, everything's great now. Thank you very much." I had one occasion where someone, their daughter was waking up with scratches, like claw marks on their back. It's true. And they'd had a really rough time of it. They were so upset. They weren't sleeping great, so they were feeling really awful about it. And they'd had stuff in the house that was broken. It turned out alongside that, there was a big awful story that afterwards they found out that there'd been a death there, and it wasn't a very nice death in the kind of small flat house that they were in. And at that point, I called in my colleague, who I won't mention his name because they generally don't make it very well known. They called my colleague in, who carried on from there, and they just said everything's all right now. But they are someone who's trained in what we call deliverance ministry. So yeah, there you go. Proper stuff. It's a genuine thing. There's definitely places and buildings and situations where I feel the presence of something other, and that we need to do something about. And I don't feel any fear in Christ, because I have very strong faith. But I also know that there's times when it's mental health that people are suffering because they've got a mental health problem, and that's the thing that's causing them to think of all these evil things that are going on, or evil presences. So you have to be careful. You have to be the most mature, sensible, responsible person to do it. You can't be the priest that goes, "Oh, I get to do an exorcism." That's not how it works. And you have to be signposting things like mental health, and you have to be looking after people's well-being. It's a safeguarding thing as much as anything else as well. So taking care of people. But yeah, tricky, isn't it? Tricky. You have to. It actually happens. It actually happens, and we make a point of taking it quite seriously. But I've been in churches that have felt like that. Yeah, places need prayer, and some people need support and help. And I think faith is a really good way of doing that. And but as long as you got the right people in the background. But the person who was the like the exorcist, the diocesan deliverance minister. I know the one who is for the Isle of Man, which I won't say, but if anyone ever needed that help, I could direct them. But where I was before, the guy was just brilliant, and he was just on the ball and wasn't fazed by anything. Really ridiculously strong faith, and you knew that he would do everything exactly right. And if it was a mental health thing, he would be helping them out. If there was anyone at risk, that he'd sort that out. But he was also someone who I would trust if I needed that sort of help. I've also had an experience where my daughter, when we were funnily enough, renting a parsonage, so it would have been where the local vicar would have lived. That was on the Isle of Grain. And my young daughter at the time, very young, 2 or 3 or something like that, was getting upset in the morning, looking tired and saying, and she said there was, I think it was an old man at the end of the bed, and they were saying really bad words. We're like, what bad? What do you mean? I can't say them. And we managed to get her to say, I think one of them, and it was really awful, like what he was saying, like this person at the end of their bed was saying. And we had a group from the church come out, including the vicar, and they came round and they prayed around the house, and they anointed the doors and splashed holy water around. And that was before I was ever a priest. And yeah, so we had that. So there's a degree of me that says I am skeptical about most situations where that sort of thing is apparently going on. But I do obviously have been involved in situations which are slightly less explainable and where I think there is something going on. But I try not to be too definite about anything like that. How are we doing? Not bad. So I remember seeing a sign outside a church in Vegas saying "honk if you love Jesus" text while driving if you want to meet. Yeah, I've seen some posters like that. I kind of, do you know, when there was a lot of those going around at one point, and there was a real temptation to get one of those boards that they have outside some of the churches in America where they can change the letters on it. God, can you imagine the people where, like those little characters we have in Castletown? They'd have no end of joy with that if it was anywhere they could reach. It would be very difficult to do and not make it look tacky on the ancient or the old church. Even in Castletown, it's an old school building as such, but very old school building. Been a church since the mid '80s, and before that, it was the part of the St Mary's St Mary's, the Garrison Church, St Mary's in the Square. There you go. But I wouldn't mind that. Welshman Jason Post. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Nice to hear from you. How you keeping? It's nice to have you on the live stream, buddy. Nice to. So another. I get quite a few Welshmen linked to it, probably because we can see people from Wales and the Isle of Man. We could probably wave at each other over the water some days, and it's clear enough. But you do some. Let me have a look at the. I should have people's stuff up so I can have a look at. That's not what I want to. I really want to watch. Why can't I watch it? Streaming public analytics. Not letting me. Oh, here we go. What I'm trying to do is get on there so I can look at the chat. I thought you were doing some walks and stuff. I thought you had some content on there, Jason. Why did I think this channel doesn't have any content? I'm sure. Jason Walks. I thought you had some stuff up, but I was just checking your channel, if you had anything on your channel. See Isle of Man from Great Orme Summit. Yeah, Great Orme. Okay. Yeah, well, we get to see, so we can see, and you really can see Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, and of course the Isle of Man, the heavens and the seas, the 7 kingdoms. So I get told off. Someone said to me, 6 kingdoms. It's not. It's doesn't include the heavens or something like that. I don't know. I was like, if you go up the mountain, top of Snæfell, it says 7 kingdoms. So I'll keep with what Culture Vannin say. I'll keep an eye out for you in Castle and say hello to you. Yeah, James, please do. Yeah, do it. I mean, I'm terrible with remembering people's names and stuff like that. Just say, it's James. I was on the live stream the other night. And anytime you want to grab a coffee, mate, got plenty of choice in Castletown, haven't we? We always grab a coffee somewhere. Hey, here Costa's opening at 7:30 in the morning now. It's about time, actually. I think we need an early morning coffee shop, especially people off there going on to work and things. Having an early place you can grab a quick coffee in the morning sometimes as a treat is really nice. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out and say hello when you're about, mate. I don't know if you're off now, if that's what you're saying, that you're. It sounds like one of those ones things you say before you say goodbye. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out. You'll always see me about. I'm pretty hard to miss. I'm 6'2", and I'll be wearing a white collar and this is a grey shirt today, but quite often a black shirt or polo shirts or some kind of hipster type priest stuff. So I'll either look like a really traditional priest with a dark jacket and a black trousers and a black shirt, or I'll be wearing bright orange trainers and jeans, possibly shorts and a hoodie and a polo shirt. So I really don't give myself any rules, but you will spot me nonetheless. Come and say hi, and if I've got time, we'll go grab a coffee, or we'll go another time. Anyone who lives local, my thing is I love to meet people and catch up with people. Go grab a drink somewhere, and you might see me down the glue pot every now and again as well, but only if I've been really, really good and my wife lets me out. Yeah, what else is there to talk about? So we did a bit about, are there ghosts? There's definitely some unexplained stuff that goes on, and the church is all about the supernatural, basically. So someone dying and rising from the dead, the immaculate conception, so virgin birth, stars in the skies, and signs and wonders and miracles and walking on water, and what else? If we go, well, but we don't believe in that. Actually, lots of people in the West don't believe in a lot of the supernatural of the Bible when you actually pin them down on it. You go to an African church and they're like, yep, we believe it all, no problem at all. Very different. Jason, I think you're the one who keeps telling me about Marine Drive. I'm going to do it. I promise you I'm going to do it. I've got a really good plan for it as well. But I'm probably going to need to get dropped off so I can do the walk, because it's not really a circular walk, it's a one-way. But definitely Marine Drive. I was talking about it the other day because I haven't done it yet. I've been down there loads. I've not been any further than kind of the end of the driveway, but I want to get some photos up there. Now I'm staying 6'4" and I see myself in your video when you went to the castle at the end of the video by the Union Lane. All right, okay, cool. Excellent. Yep, I remember the castle one. Marine Drive is definitely on for me. I was just talking to someone about that the other day. We were putting the world to rights and just saying about how it's such a shame about what we've lost along Marine Drive. And I know you can't do much about it. It would have cost a fortune, and it's landslides and rock falls and stuff like that. But when you see older pictures of what was along there, and train lines and whatever else, walks and roads and stuff, I was like, it's amazing. Like what was there, and it's just gone. It's gone. So, but I do want to do a proper walk down there. And I don't mind what weather it is, but I wonder whether we're planning a few things. We're thinking about. So what you can do is you can drive with someone to the end. If I'm walking with someone, you can drive with someone to meet somewhere at the end of your route, if you like. Leave one car there, then drive back in the other car to start your route, and then walk back to the other car, and they then give you a lift back to your car. And it's not, it's probably only a few miles, so it's not that bad. But we're trying to work it out so we can do it. Because I don't think Port Soderick there, you would struggle to get out of there unless you've got a car. It'd be easier the other way because you could get home. But I might be an idea to get my wife to drive me to Port Soderick and drop me off, and I'll do it the opposite direction, because then I can get to Douglas and get a bus home which would be nice and easy. That's one way of doing it. You could take the train from Marine Drive. Yeah, that would get me from here. But if I'm doing Port Soderick, it would be, if I walked from Marine Drive to Port Soderick, there's nothing there, is there? Is there a bus? Is there a train station there? This is my knowledge not being good enough. I'm feeling there is now. I think you have to walk up to it, don't you? I don't think it's like near like the coast, but there is a station there, isn't there? Yeah, you can walk up to something. Hey, thanks for your. We did watch. Hey, Pete, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I appreciate you watching. Everyone who watches, anyone who watches a vid, what you do is you get the visibility out there. Station at Portsmouth, there is one, isn't there? The train's the way, but the trains aren't going to be running for much longer. I want to do some wind talks. So I've got some wet waterproof gear. I'm going to get some over trousers so I can do some proper wet walks in the rain and do those. I don't mind them, but I need the right camera so I don't so it doesn't blow up or ruin it. I need an action cam for that. So that's on the list of many things. Well, it's not actually that many things I need now. I've pretty much got all my kit together. But yeah, Pete, thank you for that. Really, really appreciate you watching the videos. Sorry there's not one tonight for anyone who's been watching. Been a horrendous week for me. Just stuff coming up. Tried to make sure I had time with the family on bank holiday. Then it was straight back into sort of the working week, and I probably should have had another day off actually, because I'm not supposed to. If my day off is Monday, then I get another day, but I never do it. I just realised that actually. I had a funeral come in and a few other bits come up and some planning to do for the weekend. And we've got a new brunch that started in Castletown. So we do 10 to 1. We've now got last Saturday of the month, we're doing a brunch. We were doing every Friday a coffee morning. It was just 4 or 5 people turning up. So we're trying to make it, right, okay, that's kind of lost its shine a bit, so we're going for a nice brunch where we're doing like sausage sandwiches, bacon sandwiches, cake, coffee, and you can get like coffee and a bacon sandwich for £3. It'll make a tiny bit of money for the church, mainly to cover the lighting, heating, and the cost of the materials, like the food. So it's not there to make money really. It's more about doing a kind of community thing and a social thing. But we did really well last time we did it, and we're going to do it last Saturday of the month. So I'll do the last Friday of the month will be this, and last Saturday of the month will be the next day will be brunch. So that's pretty good. Marine Drive, biggest mistake I made was to drive to the end in a pickup truck trying to do an 18-point turn with sheer rock face one side and sheer drop the other. A real test of nerve. When we first came here in the big, we had a Ford C-Max, Ford S-Max, yes, which is quite a big car. And we got to the end of Marine Drive, and it is pretty nerve-wracking, even if it's like, you kind of, there's this, for me, it's like in my head, I'm going, now, the clutch goes now, we're going over this cliff. It's like, so why does the brain go there? It does. It's like that fear thing, kind of making sure you're safe. But yeah, it is quite scary doing the three. If you're in a big truck, don't fancy that much. I love pickup trucks, by the way, John. Completely useless for someone like me. I wouldn't mind a twin cab or something like that, but I do like a pickup truck. But I've got enough cars now. I've got 2 myself, and one's a project already, and the other one is a sports car, so that's really not. Don't need a pickup truck as well. And my wife's Fiat 500 does the rest of the jobs. Coffee mornings are 2 yesterday. Yeah. I forgot to say, I'm on the crutches. All right, James. Oh, you'll be easy to spot. Is that a fairly permanent thing? I'm assuming from that. It's right near the start of Marine Drive, hence why there is a station. Okay, cool. I'll right, excellent. So I've got a little kind of let's see if I can do a train route there. Looks like, I think Sunday night I might be camping with the boy, because we promised we'd do a camp over the summer, and it's going to be awful weather, but we don't mind because we just sit in a tent and read. He's quite a good reader, as in he loves reading still. At 15 he still consumes books. And we'll just cook in the tent porch and and eat way too many bourbon biscuits or whatever, and it'll be fine. And just do a light. We'll be late anyway. We won't pitch till sort of 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and then we'll be gone by 6 o'clock in the morning. So it might be a bit of a wet one, but I don't mind that. I don't mind the rain on a tent doesn't bother me, and I've got earplugs or earphones with noise cancelling if it comes to it. So I've got all that stuff. That's not a problem. But that might be next. But yeah, I wonder if I can get a trip on the train sorted out, because I've only done a couple of trips on the train this year, and I always regret it because it gets to the end of the season and I go, I've only been on the train a couple of times, and I love the train when it goes past. I forgot to say, on crutches, yeah, I read that one. Coffee mornings are 2 yesterday. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think there's something about people go, oh, there's a coffee morning at church. You've got to do something else. I like the soup stuff. People love the soup and bread, homemade soups and things. And even though that might feel a bit yesterday, that kind of fits into that nostalgia. And there's lots of people cooking now, like making rustic soups. And they've got whole YouTube channels and TikToks and things all about it, and big thing. So and people like a bit of grub. If you've got food going, if it's just coffee and biscuits, people tend not to be so interested. You have to do something. So brunch is a big thing now. You know, you get a bit of a lay-in on the Saturday still, and then you come in and then you get yourself pretty cheaply. You could probably feed your family for next to nothing and have a nice cuppa and meet a load of other people. We had about 10, 12, 15 people, whatever it was. I can't remember now last time. And it was good because we did fairly soft launch. So hopefully this time round it'll be a few more, which should be good. And it's all organised by other people. So I just get to go along. So I don't have to worry too much about that. But yeah, I mean, what else do you do? We want to do we want to do a braai, which is like a South African barbecue at some point, but that hasn't taken off yet this summer. I'm worried we might have missed the weather, but I think we've got some sunny days coming up either next week or the week after. So it might be after back to school, but I'd love to do a barbecue. But it's like, it kind of sits there and basically people are waiting for me to organise it. And I can't organise everything because otherwise I'd never get any work done. And actually, as a vicar or priest in charge at the moment, soon to be vicar, you have to kind of go, I'm not going to say, oh, let me organise it, because it's not really my job. If I do it, then that will set the standard, and anything we want to do, it'd be like, oh, great, Simon, we'll have a music night. We'll leave you to organise it. Oh, we'll do an evening in a musical in the not evening in one of the lovely gardens of is it not Peveril? Is it Parville? Which is a beautiful building next to one of our churches, and I think we'll be allowed to use the gardens. But I'll end up organising all those things, and actually I don't have time to do that. I'm working on a lot of other missional stuff at the moment, and can't be everywhere all at once, and I don't want to start. That's something for the congregation to organise, but we're growing, so there's more people willing to jump in and help out with this stuff, so we'll get there. Train station is 10 minutes walk away. Port Soderick. I'll have a look. I need to work out how far it is and whether I'm likely to catch the train at the right time and stuff. No, my luck, I missed the last one. But I my wife works in Port Erin. I can always hang around somewhere and make a cuppa and just get picked up later. She'll definitely come pick me up because I make dinner. So if she doesn't pick me up, she doesn't get any dinner. But I have to balance it out against work and stuff. So I usually, a lot of the stuff that I do film is on a Monday, which is my rest day, my day off anyway. If it's during the week at another time, then it's because I've got late meetings or other stuff. I do kind of, I don't have to justify it to anyone, but I'm, if you like, my own boss in that respect. But I manage my own time. But I do tend to go, well, sorry, if I'm working all morning and then I've got a meeting tonight at 7 and that's going to go on for a couple of hours and I'm going to travel there and back. I'm going to take a couple of hours in the afternoon to go for a walk, get some fresh air, work on my own mental health, and maybe record a video. Because that's all it is. It's so easy. All I'm doing is going to places, and it's for my own good as well, and record the video, a little bit of editing, pop it up there, bit of AI to produce the clips, and I'm done for the week. So we'll work on that. So 496 subscribers. We've done all right. I'll take it. I'll take that. Where are we at now? 15 minutes to go if I'm going to do the full 2 hours. The full 2 hours. Is there anything else anybody would like to ask about what I do as a vicar? Don't forget, this will be last Friday of the month every month. So if you come here again, perhaps you didn't talk, perhaps you were watching, but it was in the background and you didn't really want to. I know what that's like, as I say. Sometimes it's nice just what we call lurkers, to lurk. I've been a habitual lurker. If you kind of want to ask next time, then there'll be a next time. We'll do this again last Friday of the month, unless there's something major on. We'll just do it again. So that'll be good, and we'll kind of keep changing it up each time and doing different things, and maybe I'll get some questions and maybe a plan for some questions to ask you guys, because the usual thing for me is always going to be sort of, where do you think I should visit? Any recommendations? Definitely food and drink recommendations as well. Nothing too fancy. If there's a great place to get a coffee. So I love the Coffee Cottage, South Burrell. Love it. Really good coffee at the Sound. Flat white. Flat white's my coffee. Not everyone gets flat white correct. There's a lot of people just don't make it right. So good flat white is not a massive drink. It's a smaller drink, double shot, steamed milk. Do it properly. Yeah, good places to get a nice coffee. Noah's I've done. Obviously all the coffee places in Castletown I've done. Even Costa. Use of drones and where around the island is my curiosity. Okay, so there's actually a bit of a split on this, because I got not into an argument, but I got into a discussion about it when someone lost their drone in the harbour at Castletown, and you could see it, and they could have probably walked out to it, but they didn't want to get their feet wet. So could anyone help them out or whatever? Or they were just saying that their drone had gone in the water, and they were flying a drone in Castletown. Now, you're perfectly okay to fly drones because you've got two types of drones. You've got the unmanned, are they called SUVs? Something that's SUVs, is it? You've got under 250 grams and you've got over 250 grams. Over 250 grams, you should have a license now. I think it is. You need to be able to fly them, but you should have at least done the certificate. But you can check it out on the government website. Under 250 grams, you don't. Nothing you need. You're not limited by the rules of, when you've got over 250 grams, you're limited by you not being able to fly near populated areas, crowds over certain numbers, things like that. So there's lots of things. And under 250 grams, you don't have any of those rules, for starters. There are exclusion areas around the airport and around the prison. The airport area covers Castletown. Goes quite a way along to sort of Gancy almost way, so like the Shore Hotel goes that far. I don't know, haven't really looked at the other direction because it's never really affected me. I'm not going to fly out Langness because that's all within that no-fly zone for the airport. And the other one's around Derby because of the prison. And the argument got into is someone said the rules don't apply to under 250 grams. So that you can fly them in Castletown. Because I said, did you speak to the CA about it? It wasn't, because I was going to try and ask, because both my churches fall into the no-fly zone. So I wanted to take some videos of my churches. I said, who did you speak to at the Civil Aviation Authority? Because I'd really like to fly and take some pictures. Perhaps if I knew who you contacted, that would give me rather than me trying to research you or make loads of phone calls. That's a UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle. And these are MUAVs under 250 grams, which is micro unmanned aerial vehicles. That's the one. That's the correct term. Now, someone quoted it and it said, "But these, the rules don't apply to micro UAVs." Okay, but if you read the details, it said apart from those designated areas as C section which apply to micro. And in this section, it had the areas where when there was exclusion zones for racing, because it wouldn't matter if it was over 250 grams or under 250 grams. If your drone distracted or hit a rider in the helmet, you're going to do them some damage. You're likely to kill them if they're going at some serious speed. And probably people with like these little drones don't have as much control over them either, because they're far more prone to the wind. They're just not that powerful. So more and people aren't always responsible about it. So part of that is obviously they don't want people filming the racing because they can make money from the licensing. But hey, that's another story. And the person argued with me that it didn't apply, those areas didn't apply because it said that the rules didn't apply. But the rules mainly they were talking about with the micro UAVs was all the stuff about in populated areas, around built up areas and that kind of thing, it was all about that kind of stuff. It actually did say that it applied when it came to the exclusion zones and these other like temporary restrictions that they have for racing. And they were, no, it doesn't. We'll have to agree to disagree. It's really obvious answer to this. Why would there be a problem? So if you had why is it a problem on an airplane? Is it because these things are going to take an aircraft down? Probably not. But they are a distraction, and they could get sucked into an engine, and they could cause damage, and so there is a potential. So if they see drones flying around the airport, it grounds the planes, and it's happened here, where at Ronald's Way, a flight. If you've ever been had a flight delayed, because it happens a fair bit in the winter, it happens quite a lot generally anyway. If you've had a flight delayed or cancelled, you know how frustrating and annoying that is for you. If a pilot out the side of his window sees a drone, and you might say, well, Castletown's miles away. Regardless, okay. Someone reports someone flying drones in a no-fly area, they are then grounded. They don't know whether that drone is 250 grams, below 250 or over 200. How are they supposed to know? By looking at a drone flying past. You can't tell, because some of these drones are 200 or 300 grams. And some of my Neo is probably a couple of 100 grams, so it's probably much lighter than 250. So they wouldn't know, which means it would ground the aircraft. So and when it comes to the prison, obviously a big part of that is dropping parcels of drugs or whatever it might be off into the prison and things like that, and obviously looking at being a security risk. An under 250 gram drone could still carry drugs into a prison and take video of the security areas and guards and things like that. So yeah, of course it's not supposed to be flown in those areas. There's a good reason. Any drone cannot be flown around Derby, and any drone cannot be flown around Castletown without prior permission from the Civil Aviation Authority. So you've got to speak to the people there, and you can get permissions to fly aircraft. So everywhere else on the island, really not a problem. If you stick under 250 grams, you can fly them anywhere. Just don't be annoying with it. Don't fly up and down paths where people are walking. Don't fly along. I fly mine on the beach when it's been busier, but I try and get some height, because mine's so tiny. It would sound like a bee buzzing past. But if I fly it a little bit higher, no one's really going to be bothered. And last time I flew at Laxey, I had kids coming up to see about it. What was it? How does it work? Looking at the pictures and looking at the videos and the controller, and they were really good. Just be nice about it, If someone says that's really annoying, then go, I'm sorry, let me pack it away. I'll go somewhere else. Obviously, if someone's being too much of a, you're an empty beach and one person's walking in and they say, you can't fly your drone here, and you go, well, I can. You don't have to put up with that, but just be nice about it. Don't if it's frustrating people or annoying people or upsetting their pets or their dog or whatever it might be. The other thing I avoid is nesting season. I always avoid anywhere where I met some bird watchers, and I was about to fly my drone, and I said to them, is this going to annoy you or cause you problems where I'm flying it? Is there anywhere I can fly it that causes you less hassle? And we chatted and talked, and they gave me some, actually there's nesting birds over here. We're looking for this particular rare bird that's supposed to be over this way. So if you fly up that way, that was at the slot. And that's the way to do it. Communicate, be nice about it, be willing, not to do it if it's going to wind someone up. That's all I say. Easy peasy. That's the way to do it. Anyway, God, got on for a while. Can't I? I can talk for England. It's going to be time to chillax, have a cuppa, I think, before I hit up and the old wooden, what do they call it? The wooden what? The wooden slope or whatever it is. I got permission to fly at Scarlet Point Kilns on the beach, but was limited to 50 feet, and I ticked an agreement on the app for liability. So the question is, where you got permission from? So if you got permission from the CA, fine, no problem. Of course they don't mind. They know about it. If someone says, "Oh, there's a drone at Scarlet," and you go, "Well, they know about it. It's fine." I guess you just speak to the control, don't you? But yeah, and if you fly in those areas anyway, so I've tested my drone indoors here, and because it recognises GPS was the Wooden Hill. That's the one. Why can't I think of it? The AA. I don't know who that is, but yeah, cool. Thank you. I'll have a look at that. I know it's Alcoholics Anonymous. I've got a group at my church. But yeah, there was. I'm guessing you got. Yeah, so you can on my Neo. I don't know what you've got there, but on my Neo, I use when I'm flying it on the controller, it tells me if I'm in a restricted area. And I will then have to tick to say I'm allowed to. And I even had to do that when I was at home indoors. And strictly speaking, I couldn't even fly it around my house outdoors and get into trouble for that. So, but indoors, when I first got it, I was trying it and testing it and things like that. And it was windy outside, so I couldn't use it because it's not very good against the wind, the Neo. I had to tick the box on the app to say, yes, I'm in a restricted area. I realise that. I'm okay, I've got permission or whatever, or in my case it was like I take liability for it. But aviation authority, right? Okay, aviation authority, isn't it? Yeah, so I might do that because I'd love to take some video footage because I'd like to do some stuff for my churches, create a nice kind of almost like presentation video for the churches, a bit of an advert if you like. Try editing something nice together for them. And what I'd need to do there is to do some nice drone shots of both churches. It's also really, really useful when you've got leaks or you might have tiles loose or you've got a problem with the roof. I did admittedly use mine very briefly to film the side of my house. I was never ever higher than my house just because we had a tree hit the side of our house and take off a piece of the guttering. So I was able to check for damage up there, but I did that like really quickly. I probably shouldn't have even done that. But I wasn't flying like the other guy was around Castletown and along the beach and around the harbour and stuff like that, which you're absolutely not allowed to do. There you go. Not without permission, like you say. Right, okay. I'm going to start winding things up now. Done 2 hours, which is what I was aiming for. I'm just coming up for 2 hours anyway. I don't even know if I've got a time on the stream. Yeah, doesn't really matter. I know I started it pretty much on time at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. Appreciate you joining me. I always kind of starting to finish stuff. Yep, I had to do that to check for tiles missing after storm. But yeah, really useful. That's so useful for that. If you've got a really decent camera on one, they are incredibly useful as a tool for that. Lots of places using it. I actually had a really small one, like an old one, and I put it in the church fair because it was only like a 30-40 quid one or something. It wasn't, so it wouldn't be worth that anyway. And I put it in the fair, and local builder built it for exactly that, for checking out roofs, for building repairs and things like that. That's what they got you to use it for. Yeah, I'm gonna finish with a really quick prayer because that's probably too expected when you've got a vicar. I'll be really short, I promise you. But I think it's important that I kind of do that. And I'll do my usual sign off at the end. But so, Father, thank you for the stream tonight. Thank you for all the people that join me. Bless all their lives. Bless all their own activities, the things that they've got going on in their lives, things they've got planned for this weekend. And Lord, fill their lives full of joy and happiness. And thank you, Lord, for blessing us with the technology to to giving us these things, for the people who produce this stuff, that we can chat and talk and do all these sorts of amazing things and communicate across the globe, speak to people in other countries. It's such a great place for ministry. So thank you, Lord, for that. And pray all this in Jesus' name. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I could go off on one. I'll start digressing into my prayers, and then I'll be praying for the next 20 minutes. James, just, yeah, and you know where I live, so, you know, don't be a stranger. Louise, thank you. Good night, Simon. Thank you. Really, look, lovely to have you here. And thank you for saying hello at the end of the stream. I really appreciate that. It's really good of you. So take care. Take care of yourselves. More importantly, take care of each other. God bless. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And now it should fade off into music, but I haven't got that prepared. So I need to go to my stream ending. Will that work? And then chuck some music on. See you all later.